Well, hello, and here we are at the Gathering Place, and it's your girl Queen DMC, and I am here with the amazing, talented TL Savage. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
How you doing today, beautiful?
Thank you very much. Thank you for welcoming me to the Gathering Place.
I'm so excited to have you here. I've been hearing so much about you, about your creative journey and your writings and the poems and stuff, and I feel like, where do we start? There's so much to share. So when you first started, like really just getting into the meat of things as far as your writing, how old were you?
Wow. The first time I started writing was middle school, 13 Fitzsimons.
Okay.
And it was writing little short stints with my friends.
Yeah.
And I just kept writing. And then characters started popping up and I just kept writing through the years. The first time I really published, it was when I was attending high school at Ben Franklin. At Ben Franklin. It was after I lost my sister. We lost her to a drunk driver. And it was titled When the Rain Came. Wow. And I was 14 when I wrote that. And
14?
14. And the teachers over there, they took it, they showed it everywhere. They had the school really welcoming it and people learning how to understand poetry through it. Some of the English teachers.
That's beautiful.
And I felt blessed.
Yeah, that's a blessing because you were giving back. You were allowing them to be creative and work through that mental piece as well. So that's really, really cool. At 14,
At 14.
So you were already driven to be more than just a regular old writer.
Yes.
You know? That's what's up.
Yes.
So when did you first write your first book?
The first book was Child Rest.
Okay.
And Child Rest
and that's this one right here.
Yes. One of my best friends did the illustration for the 3 poetry books.
This beautiful cover.
Thank you.
Picture. Look at you.
Go
ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, no. So child rest is a term that I got from my grandmother, or our whole generation. And it pretty much means wait or just stop, or it is what it is, child rest. Like just deal with it.
I like that.
And it was a bunch of family thoughts and relationships and just happy thoughts. And I just wrote out the different poems and stuff, and it all went into child rest.
Okay.
And it's an intimate look if you know the family. If you don't know the family, it still relates to all families.
Okay.
You'll definitely see your aunties and uncles and your big mamas in there and your crazy friends and stuff. So that was the first one I published, and I was excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It probably was like just like giving birth.
That's what it felt
That's
like.
how I feel when I create something like that's my baby.
Yeah, that's how it feels. And then it feels like my grandmother is right with me.
Yeah,
you know, her spirit is like, okay, you got that done.
And that's a beautiful thing that we can be able to do that, because we can put it right back out there, because they never really leave us.
They don't.
You know, and by us being creatives, it's important that we share those journeys and share those experiences, because you don't know how it might touch somebody else. It's like ministering in a way. You know?
Yes, I like that.
That's a good way to handle it, you know? So what was the next book after that?
So the next one, book 2, was I Mean. And it's another saying. And I mean is it is what it is. That's what I mean pretty mean. It's like I'm done. I mean. And if you agree with me, like if we're saying, for example, the Gathering Place is on twice a week, we want it on 5 times a week. And you're like, I mean, that means I agree.
Okay. So, I mean, that's what I'm telling y'all. Twice a week, that's our goal.
Yes, I mean, it's firm. And again, it's a bunch of different thoughts. I touched into some quick skits into that. That was different for me. I got a lot of feedback. And it's exciting. And again, it's just, it felt right. Spiritually, it felt right.
So what year did you write this? When did this one come out?
I published Child Rest in 2021.
Okay.
I Mean was done in 22, I believe.
Okay.
Rediction, I love that name.
I like it too.
Book The 3 Rediction was published last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now tell us what rediction means. We need to know that.
Beyond ridiculous.
Beyond ridiculous.
Yeah. Sometime.
There'd be a lot of that going on. A lot of that going on.
Everything. Mm-hmm. From the nowadays with everything that's happening in the world, everything is rediction. And that just means beyond ridiculous. I'm done.
You should get some shirts made
with that name.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'll wear one, won't you? I would definitely wear a shirt to say that. Be like, what's wrong with you? Rediction. You ain't even gotta say nothing. I got those points on it.
That's a good idea. I definitely put you under there. Mm-hmm. And then on the back say beyond ridiculous.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like I saw the meaning of, what was it? I think it's energy. Mm-hmm. And it's supposed to be the subatomic something. I think it's cells or something. That's what it's supposed, that's the meaning of it. And I was like, that's exactly what I want. I want that. Like I want that type all day long. I need to be every time trying to get my energy back up or heighten my vibrations, because there'll be some stuff going on.
Yes. And
you need to be, filling that up, filling that energy level up so you can keep it moving.
That's a nice shirt or a tag to have. I like to know what that means.
Yeah. Just like with rediction.
I say rediction every day, and a lot of my lifelong friends and stuff, they're saying it now too.
And I'm telling you, you got some shirts.
Like,
you have a whole crew.
Or I mean, I'll be cracking up laughing. Like,
yeah, because a lot of people say that just and like, nah, I mean, But that'll be a good one. And but last but not least, we gotta talk about that.
Okay, so the other Betty Jean. I'm from right here in North Philadelphia. Okay. The Francisville community, if you've heard of it. Yeah. There are 4 Betty Jeans in that community. Mm-hmm. Recently, I want to say about a decade ago, actually, we were talking, me and my mother, about just some of the amazing things that happened during the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and some of the things that transitioned our relationship, some of the trauma that we shared together, and the blessings. My God, the blessings. Mm-hmm. And and giving her flowers, she's like, you don't have to write no poems about me, and you don't have to say this about me. And I said, Mom, you are amazing. Yes. Do you know you are amazing? And I don't think that we share a lot of the blessings with our mothers like we should. And so I said, okay, this is what I want you to do, Mom. I'm going to give you a date and just go with it. September 5th, 1984, just write what happened. And then that started it. And then eventually, when I started reading it, I did every chapter with one of the old songs, the Motowns, the Jacksons, everything that give you the vibe of the 60s and 70s. And then the 80s came out. And I touched with the family. My mother's one of 12.
Wow.
And I let them know that rather you agree or don't agree, this is her story and this is what it is. Write your own book. Okay. But for the most part, no one complained. They had a lot of nicknames for each other. And it wasn't until I really thought about their nicknames. Like her siblings called her Spook because she's dark skinned, beautiful Black queen. Right. But spooky. And then there's Piggy, which is one of my youngest aunts, Frog. Okay. Wow. The uncles are like heads for my uncle that they call big heads. Weasel, clearly you know why that means Weasel. Know about that. China Doll, Aunt. It's just like funny names that siblings call each other, and they tease each other. But I looked at the nickname Spook differently. I just felt like that's a little bit different. And I don't know if that was intended to hurt more so than to tease. I don't know. It does sound like a little hurt there. Doesn't it? So, but that's good. Yeah. So we'll be right back, guys. Stay tuned.
And we're back here at the Gathering Place. And that name that we were talking about, Spook, I don't know about that. I don't really like it too much, but that was the name that they gave your mom. But how does she feel about it? Did it bother her any?
If it did bother her, she never really said anything.
Okay.
It is when, I want to say, like in gatherings, like cousins or aunts and stuff would be like, "Hey, Spooky," and I didn't like it. It felt funny to me one day, and then when I asked her, she was like, "Well, that's the name they gave me."
Right.
And I felt like you take a lot of hits sometime, and you don't even realize what it's doing to you internally.
Yeah.
You have
siblings. You like a stigma.
Yes, that's how I felt. Being her now surviving daughter.
Right.
I definitely felt that I didn't like the name. And
so what did you do for feeling the way that you did about the name? What did you do differently, like to express it in a better fashion? Like how would you express it in a better fashion?
I told my mom to give me her voice. I said, let's say your voice.
Okay.
And of course, when people are reading it, and it's the siblings when they're reading it, they're like trying to take the power off of that name.
Good.
And they're like, "Oh, I didn't know it was like that. It was just, y'all called me Frog, or they, you called me Piggy." And,
that's still like, so was he jump? Was Froggy? Was he jumpy? And Piggy because she eat a lot? Like, where did they get these names from?
I don't know where they got these names from. Being stuck together at,
just something fun to do.
20th and Girard, but I think that families need to pay attention to the nicknames that they give each other, because names have power.
It does.
And
it does.
You look at someone's journey and you see a name like Spooky, or you see a name like Dirt. What do you expect? Like, what do you expect from somebody that
you got to speak like
you have not named Queen?
Yeah. Got to do that. That's why I remember it was a person in my family that used to call my daughter, because she was bigger than most of the other kids, they used to call her Jumbo. No. And she hated it, but she would never say nothing about it because they were older than her. So she felt like, oh, well, I'm a child, I'm going to stay in a child's place, all that stuff. But it bothered her. And as she got older, like she started expressing it. Like, I really don't like for you guys to call me Jumbo, even her dad, he was just saying in play. But that was like the name that they chose for her. But what she did was she turned it around. She was like, yeah, I'm big. I'm a big girl. Like, I'm a big deal. I'm big. I'm Jumbo Pat, stuff like that.
I love that.
And I liked how she that's why I was asking you, like, how did y'all take that name and like give it a whole different formula?
Yeah,
sometimes that's what we got to do.
We have to, because we heard each other first. I think I always say my mom said she's Sagittarius, so you know how they're strong people.
Don't play.
I think when she started processing and looking through the book, is looking at things from a different perspective, and she feel like family is family, but she, it's something she can't get away from it, but she don't claim it.
Good. And we can't claim those things.
Yeah.
So how would people get in contact with you about this book? Like, how can they follow you and things like that?
So my website is Serpent Honey Publications. I recently changed it from tlsavage.com.
Okay.
Because there are more things that I'm doing and writing under pen names. So I didn't want to confuse readers of some of the other works that are coming forward, children's books and theater. And
all right.
Yeah.
That's going to be exciting. So with you doing the theater and everything that you want to do, how do you think you want to use it basing it from one of your books, or do you want to base it from, something like far as a life experience or anything like that? Like, cause I see you do that in majority, in all of the books that you have here. So do you think that you want to do it, like when you do the children books, it's like maybe like, how people do books and it be like particular part of what children go for, like bullying or things like that. Like we were just saying, like even with the names and such.
Yes. With some of the plays that I started writing already, it definitely touches on to some of the sillier things in life. However, also the trauma. Professionally, I'm a therapeutic case manager, so I'm seeing a lot of challenges with families and in communities. So some of the things that I write are the voices that you're not hearing often. It is the situations where simply carrying up a basket for an older relative or older neighbor that no longer has. Family is linking, you know. I absolutely would like to see, thank you, the other Betty Jean. It could, I don't even care what the title would be, but I would like to see that done.
I think that would be a good starting point for you, because that book, it speaks volumes when it comes to how we are as Black women, as Black queens. And so you guys got to get it. That's all I'm going to say, because I'm going to keep talking and, you know, you're not going to go get it, but you have to log in, you know, connect with this young woman, because this is how we grow. And that's why the Gathering Place is here, so we can get together and share our stories, so we can build, so we can grow, so we can flourish in our communities, as well as the far as getting how we feel off us, because it's very therapeutic. Writing is so therapeutic. I've been doing it all my life, just as you have. And it's important, man. I'm telling you. And you feel so much better. It's like a release.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
It makes a lot of sense. It really does.
Yeah. One of the things that once the book was out, I want to say a lot of the community immediately, the Francisville community, I don't know if you're familiar with the Morocco's name, but there's like a local group, I would say group over.
Yes.
That my family, both parents are a part of or whatever. I'm third generation by relation, of course.
Yes, yes.
So a lot of people automatically got the books. They started reaching out and they were saying, you know, like, I remember this incident. And, you know, and then along with it, the loss of my sister. We lost her when she was 7 years old. And then that journey.
Sorry to hear that.
So a lot of people didn't feel certain ways. And the power that I got from giving my mother her voice and letting her see what, you know, her story looks like for other people is my voice. And I have a lot of people that feel a certain way about my interpretation. And I had to be clear. When I write my book, it's the book of Trina. And it's no hold bars. My opinion is, I'm coming from the daughter of Betty Jean. And so the surviving daughter of Betty Jean. And that's powerful, and it's going to take me time, because I want to make sure that when it's released, it is
done and done properly.
It's going to be right. And then I'll be done with that.
Yeah.
With that stuff. Yep.
I know she's so proud of you.
I pray so.
I know she is. All right, guys, and we'll be back right here at the Gathering Place. Stay tuned. And we're back. And we were just sitting up here talking, and I got Trina to share something with you guys from one of her books. So let's hear it.
So the first poem that I wrote, and the one that stands strong, is one called When the Rain Came. Now, When the Rain Came talks about October 3rd, 1986, when an accident by a drunk driver took my sister's life. At that time, I was 11 years old. So when the rain came, the thunder roared, and the lights outside were bright. Standing on a wet corner that rainy October night, none of us heard the wheels at all. Still stunned by the light, I saw a fall. Too many noises that the big city makes, all that rain and only one mistake. It took my sister far away from us that rainy day. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I know that was rough. You were only 11 years old.
Yeah.
Then what was she doing outside at that time?
We were headed to grandmom's house.
Okay.
So it was my mother, my stepfather, my sister, and my sister cousin. 28th and Lehigh. Just the rain started coming down. We were taking a bus, and my mom decided that because it started raining more, we would just go the next day. Okay. So we were crossing back across the street when this car came speeding, and the impact threw us in 3 different directions. And so, unfortunately, my sister Martha, named after my grandma, she didn't make it through that night. But But the lesson in life for all siblings is to bless and treasure your life, you know. Mm-hmm. Here I am decades later, mm-hmm. and I still remember every moment of those 7 years that I could, as a child, remember. And my children know her through me. And
that's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. And it's so important to be able to savor those times and those, you know, those moments with the people that we love, especially our siblings, because our siblings are like, they know us, you know what I mean? So kudos to you that you wrote about her and you put her in this book, and she's still thriving through your literature. That's a beautiful thing.
Thank you.
It really is. It really is. Thank you. So tell me, when should we expect something new?
Thank you for that. So I'm working on releasing a self-help workbook and journal. It's titled "Stupid Is as Stupid Does." But it's not an attack on stupidity. It's just ignorance. It is spiritual, so it does touch on how different religions assist you through different challenges in your life. Mm-hmm. So it's Hinduism, Christianity, Judaism, Islam. It's everything. You know, we are a people, you know, shared thoughts and following prophecy. So it's an encouragement. And we say that all the time. Stupid is as stupid does, or you still stupid. You know, stuff like that.
I like how you said that.
Because that's going to be
like, because sometimes people still be stupid. Like, you're still stupid.
And it's actually scripture that support that. And I found that to be funny. And I said, okay, well, now let me toe back to like the therapeutic TL.
Okay.
And so I did that. That should be coming out like around the new year.
Okay.
One of the things I'm excited about right now, though, is a children's book that's coming out. And
what's the name of that?
It's going to be Snow Martians.
Oh.
But it's a poetry book.
Okay.
It's a poetry book, and it's written for kids 3 to 8. Okay. And it just talks about like, I'm a snow Martian, come out and play. The sun is shining bright today. So it's just in that same, I want to say that Dr. Seuss styled poetry that just makes you laugh and just smile.
You know, a Black female author.
Yes, it's just the funny things that
I'm excited about that because I love Dr. Seuss.
Yes, they don't do
Thing 1 and Thing 2. That was me and my sister.
I like that.
And I got some people in my life now. They my Thing 1 and I'm Thing 2. You know. So that's pretty cool. I'm excited about that.
Thank you.
And my grandchildren would love that too.
Thank you. I make sure I gift them.
Yeah, we definitely got to do that.
Definitely.
So you guys got to follow this lady, okay? Yes. She got some amazing stuff coming out. She got the children books. She got these books that's going to excite you. She got Rediction, okay? Because you know Rediction. You know,
beyond ridiculous.
It's beyond ridiculous. So you gotta stay tuned. You gotta stay in tune with her because this is what it's about, man. Like, and let me ask you a question. With the mental health piece, like, because you do that as well, do you find that it balances you out because you've been through what you've been through with your sister, your mom, and do you think that it's like it helps you like connect with other people?
Yes, I believe that having dealt with trauma early in life and having, unfortunately, managed a lot of it through my friends because family forget kids, you know, I learned that every moment matters. And so sometime when you just hug somebody, or even if you don't speak to the person, you just call to say, hey, I'm just checking up on you. And that's it. You know, you don't have to have a long conversation. We don't got to ask about each other kids, but are you good? I'm good. And that's it. That's
you could have just saved somebody's life by just saying that. Trust me, I know, because I've been there. I'd be like, don't nobody check on me. Nobody don't care about me. When they do, like, somebody loves me.
Somebody loves me.
Somebody cares. You know? So that's beautiful. And the thing about it is that it connects people when you do that. Like you just saying, I'm checking on you.
Yes.
You know, it was on my mind, things like that.
Yes. And you everyone knows somebody that in their family that you're like, ugh. But you also don't want to be at the gravesite. So you want to make sure that you are at least cleansing your own spirit and saying, how are you? And I find myself with a lot of my friends and coworkers and stuff when it comes to children. It's just, if you can keep the trauma away from them.
Yes. Yes.
You're a child, a small portion of your life. So that is clearly the most important time. But yeah, in this day and age, you have to touch on the mental health, and then you have to reach out and touch somebody. And if you don't want to talk, their cards.
Exactly.
The dollar store have cards, 2 for $1. You know, just checking in.
Yeah.
And that, it might even encourage that relationship to start over again.
Because they might not even have anybody to talk to. They might be in a situation where they don't have an outlet. You know, they might. You don't know what somebody's going through,
and that's
you know. So it makes sense. It does make sense. You know, like when they say make it make sense. Oh, that's making it make sense.
I mean,
all right. See how she uses the word in her jargon. You gotta get these books, man. Follow her. Stay connected. This is how we grow, right here at the Gathering Place. But anyway, I'm not gonna keep doing my little promos here and there, but you know that's what I'm trying to do as well. But what we really want to know is, can you give us like how they can stay connected with you? Like, what would be the website one more time?
It is Syrup and Honey Publications.com.
Okay. All right. That's it. And do you have what was I going to say? As far as Instagram or Facebook?
Yes, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
It's authorist TL Savage on Facebook and Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm working on the other ones right now, the TikToks and the X's and all that.
And it's just so much. But you just do a little bit at a time, and then people will connect, and then get your team. Before you know, you're going to have a whole team. They're going to do all that stuff for you, girl.
Thank you from your work, the guys' ears.
Yeah, this is how we got to get, this is how we start these things. So, well, I thank you so much for joining us here today. And it's been so much fun. You even shared some of your book with us. I'm just excited for you. And I'm looking forward to working on the plays and all that good stuff, girl.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Make it happen, Captain.
I could definitely see us working together a lot. Yeah.
Got you back like a shirt.
I'm going to get you that Reddiction shirt.
See?
We'll do it.
Got you Reddiction. All right, guys. Thanks again for joining us here at the Gathering Place. Stay tuned for more and follow us. You want to follow us because this is how we grow. Right here at the Gathering Place.
Author is TL Savage, finishing up an interview on the Gathering Place with Queen DMC.